James Kulak doing a lot of work up on the mound for Purdue with his team to the plate here in the bottom of the second. This was him against Clay Dungan as Kulak with some nice stuff. Dungan not even close there. And Kulak would strike him out later in that at-bat looking. Purdue down 1-0 with Nick Everts to the plate.
Everts, another guy, a senior, the lone senior in the starting lineup who saw some time last year as a DH for most of the season and now making the move over to first base.
That's Dungan at short across his body, and that brings Tofflin off the bag. So Everts will be on first. And that is ruled a hit for Nick Everts. So again, Purdue starts out an inning with the leadoff man on first. Back in the first inning, Purdue missed an opportunity to score a run with Skylar Hunter on third. Charlie Nasuti struck out, Cole McKenzie struck out, and then Zach Fascia flew out to strand Hunter.
Now's a good chance for Ryan Howe to redeem himself after the error in the field in the last inning. Does have 7 RBIs on the season.
Howe, just a freshman. Puts that one right towards Fagan in center, who has to take a couple steps only to make that catch. Not a bad swing from Ryan Howe, but there's one out for Owen Jansen now.
Yeah, I think if you're Ryan Howe, you can't be unhappy with the swing. Good contact, good flight out there. You just sometimes you make a good cut and you hit it right to the outfielder.
So here's Jansen, now with a cheek guard on his helmet, which makes sense. Back in Game 1 of the Penn State series, Jansen got hit in the mouth and ended up losing a tooth. He would eventually get up to run the bases, and before that had happened, he had the only RBI of the day as Purdue won that game 1-0.
Yeah, I think I seem to remember the quote from him was he was begging this trainer to stitch him up in between the innings. He was like, "I'm fine, just get me in between the innings." Tough-nosed guy, type of guy that you definitely want out there at the plate, but usually it only takes getting hit in the chops one time before you start to take some precaution.
He is a Canadian out of Oakville, Ontario.
Looks more like a hockey player now.
There you go. Now he's got that cheek guard and a mouth guard in as well. Although when there's 2 strikes, he is prone to potentially take that mouth guard out if it's distracting him. We saw that in the Penn State series.
That is a big mouth guard, though. Kind of looks like he's got an orange slice in his mouth.
I was going to say, maybe just a big old wad of Big League Chew.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's disguising that as the mouth guard.
How much gum can you get in your mouth?
Just hoping that will cushion the blow.
At least that way you get some flavor, right?
It's true, yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah, football players should take a hint.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
1-1. Jansen, the DH today for Purdue. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. In Game 2 against Penn State, Jansen was 1 for 3 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. This is Klein to the plate. That one is rocketed above the Purdue dugout. Didn't get a piece of anybody, thank goodness.
Yeah, that's one of those where maybe Jansen's not the only one who needs a mouth guard and the cheek protector.
Nothing but smiles over there above the Purdue dugout and maybe a few racing hearts. We're all good. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jansen actually played at Alexander back in high school with his travel team, the Ontario Blue Jays, on some showcases. That's where this coaching staff first saw him. Ground ball through the right side. Everts around second. He'll try and go 3. Enriquez picks it up, and Purdue has runners on first and third here with 1 out.
Great patience from Jensen. Jensen's just able to wait for his pitch, sneak that in through the infield, and Enriquez was shifted far more into the middle of right center and is able to advance efforts over to third base. So now Tyler Powers with a chance to tie this game up.
Powers hasn't had a great run of it recently at the plate. As there you see, hitting below 150 on the year. Last game against Penn State, he was 0 for 4. We've seen lots of bunt attempts ordered up by Coach Wazakowski when Powers is at the plate. And here he squares again.
Yeah, Powers, guys, you're going to take a look at this single from Jansen.
Just kind of turned on it there, it looked like.
Yeah, just, really just able to kind of get enough contact on it, pull it just past the first baseman. But Powers, a guy who also laid down a lot of bunts last year for Purdue, didn't have a tremendous batting average as that one flies into the stands as well. But he's got a lot of speed. He's very good at laying those bunts down. And especially in a situation like this, Wazakowski tends to like to try and force the issue and make the defense make a decision. Have to make a snap decision quickly.
Coach Wazakowski did call a squeeze last game against Penn State as Powers pushes that one foul. It was a well-executed squeeze. Nick Everts got the bunt down to score Zach Fascia this past weekend against the Nittany Lions.
And that's the kind of the typical aggressive play that you've grown accustomed to seeing under Coach Wazakowski on offense. Like we've talked about, not the most pop in the lineup in the Big Ten, but they'll be aggressive and smart on the base pass, and that's where they tend to try and win, in the margins, as they say.
Klein trying to wiggle out of it. Looks like Powers just got a piece of that one, and I think that foul ball might have gotten a piece of Max Wright, the catcher.
Yeah, I think he's trying to play it off, but looked like it deflected and caught the side of the face mask.
Powers hanging in there. Talking about homegrown talent with Purdue and Indiana State, two Indiana schools going at it. Powers, a Lafayette kid. Puts that one into shallow center. Fagan underneath, makes the catch. Everts tagging from third. The throw is close, and they got him. Double play for Indiana State as Fagan hoses Nick Everts at the dish. Still 1-0 when we come back for the third inning between ISU and Purdue here at Alexander.